Okay, so here's part 2, the advanced part of the PS path. Now, one of the things that it's a subtlety. There's a couple subtleties here. And remember that old problem, agitate, solve, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like that because, the agitate part. They don't like that sticking the knife in the wound type of thing because, we want to save the world and just provide value and sell a lot of stuff. That you still need to do some of the agitation. You absolutely have. I mean, if think about the Hollywood. Think about your typical movie, like your romantic comedy. Okay, here you got your romantic comedy, and here's boy and girl are happy, or boy meets girl, and then over here, then they're either going to end up happy and married, or else they're going to end up with someone else, and they're happy and married, or maybe not married, but happy with someone else. Okay, so you have this romantic comedy, and you have let's just say it's told from the male is the protagonist, and so he's in this relationship, and he's going to end up in a relationship. It's going to be this relationship, either with this other person or with someone different. Okay, and there's going to be all kinds of trials and tribulations and adventure and whatever comedy in between here. But what always happens is they don't just go from here to here and it's the story of them going from there. What happens is they go to rock bottom. Like they lose their job, they lose their dog, they lose their house. They walk around in bathrobe crying, walking down the street for 4 weeks. They hit rock bottom here, and that's the story. And then they come back up here. So in every romantic comedy, but pretty much you look at any movie coming out of Hollywood, and it's like that. People, they don't start at one level and move higher, or they don't start at one level and end at that level. They always start at this level. I mean, look at the Lord of the Rings. I mean, they go through absolute hell here. There's always this, I mean, that's what pulls people in. That's what story is all about, is there was this beginning, and then there's this end that is usually happier, bigger, whatever, but in between, they take you down. They hit rock bottom. And so when you define the problem, you do have to agitate. You do have to dimensionalize. That's like a copywriting term. You have to, like, when I talk about the big problem, the reason when we're talking about product launch formula, the big problem is that you need to launch, okay? But it's not I just come out and say you need to launch. I say you need to launch because every great product, brand, business starts with a great launch. And if you don't launch, then you are going to go out of business, or your business is going to shut down. You're going to put all this time and effort in, and it will be all lost. And you're going to be going back to looking, working at Walmart or whatever. Now, I don't actually say that, but the thing is I don't just say you have to launch. You have to launch because you will fail if you don't. So there is some amount of agitation there. So you always have to show the downside. So that's one distinction. The other distinction is that, remember, in the old style, the problem, agitate, solve, on this sales path, there's basically one problem and one solution, okay? Well, here we're breaking it up and we're delivering value by defining sub-problems, smaller problems, and then we're giving the solutions in there. But there is still one meta story over it all. The story, like with product launch formula, is you need to launch, okay? This is the you need to launch, and the solution is that you buy PLF. You actually do a PLF launch. So the problem is you need to launch. The solution is that you got to get PLF and do a launch. But so that meta story is all weaved in throughout all these pieces, but then within them, we're breaking it down. Now you need to do sideways sales letter. You need to know what type of launch to do. You need to know the product launch blueprint. So we're still breaking it down and giving solutions all the way through here, but you are carrying that big picture problem solution path throughout the entire thing. And actually what you're doing in each one of these is with this problem, with this problem, with this problem, you're really educating them on what their problems are. I mean, it's really powerful. It's like people don't even know they need a sideways sales letter before they wander into my world. Then I show them, you do need the sideways sales letter, so I'm educating them on their ignorance, basically. And ignorance isn't an awful word, it's just it's something people don't know. So I'm educating them. And here we're educating them on the different types of launches. People didn't know there's all these different types of launches. So I'm educating them, and then I'm giving the solution. So each step of the way, you're providing more education, but a lot of times the education is about what they don't know, and now you're solving it and you're giving them a solution. So that's a couple things. First, you do have to take people down. You do have to do some of that agitation, and you have one big meta path, and then within that big path, then you're adding in these different layers. The problem solution path, it works, and it's how you deliver great value and make a sale.